The headmaster came to the madrasa. He said he wanted to take me to clean his house. I got onto his motorbike and we left. He came into the room, shut the door, and started to assault me. He pulled down his trousers and took mine off by force. Then he did horrible things to me.
This testimony breaks the silence in a system where victims' voices are methodically suppressed. In Pakistan, more than 2.5 million children attend madrasas, where those who are supposed to protect them are sometimes their abusers.
A bedroom window was open. I looked inside and saw a boy lying on the floor. The teacher was on top of him, both of them naked. I've seen this sort of thing many times. The same teachers with different boys.
In a country where tradition and religion profoundly structure society, Quranic schools often escape all control and their leaders enjoy almost total impunity.
Madrasas, we know, are a real powerful hold and where abuse is happening all the time. We know that.
The omerta reigns. It takes courage to denounce a system that even the state does not dare to challenge.
Children, these are your private parts. No one has the right to touch them. If this happens, will you talk about it?
In the shadow of sacred institutions, broken innocence is still waiting to be protected and for justice to be done.
I'm 14 years old. I love cricket. I was a very good batsman and a very good bowler. I used to play a lot when I was at the madrasa. I was very excited about studying at the madrasa, but on the first day, I was worried. I wanted to tell my mother that I didn't want to stay there. I was alone without my family. The studies were very difficult. The food was bad. The tap water was no good. I was nauseous and throwing up, but after a week, I felt better and started to enjoy being there. I wanted to become a religious scholar. I wanted to be a reciter of the Quran, to travel the world and have people come and listen to me recite the Quran.
إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا.
But I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be.
Wahid was raped by the headmaster of his Quranic school. To preserve his anonymity, we have changed his name. He hardly ever leaves his house. He lives in seclusion, out of sight, surrounded by his family after daring to break the law of silence. When he had the courage to report his attacker to the teachers, Wahid was punished. His phone was confiscated and he was forbidden to leave the madrasa. He managed to escape a few weeks later, taking advantage of a moment of inattention. He tells us his story 2 months after his attack.
It was the middle of the day. The headmaster came to the madrasa. He said he wanted to take me to clean his house. I was studying. I got on behind him on his motorbike and we went to his house. There, he told me to go into a room and start cleaning. A few minutes later, he came in and locked the door. He grabbed me and threw me on the bed. He started assaulting me, then pulled down his trousers and forcibly removed mine. I started to scream. but he put his hand over my mouth, and he did horrible things to me. I couldn't stop crying. He wouldn't let me go. Then he threatened me, if you tell anyone, your teacher or your family, I'll kill you.
In Pakistan, Quranic schools are largely privately funded and operate completely independently. For millions of children, they are the only access to education. There are not enough schools in the country where the state invests just 2% of its GDP on education. This madrasa in northern Punjab is part of a large network of 3,000 religious establishments across Pakistan. Pupils spend their day deciphering the Quran letter by letter in Arabic, a language they do not speak. The method has not changed for centuries. Liqaul Mohsin agreed to open the doors of his school to us. As deputy headmaster, he is one of the most liberal voices in the local clergy.
दोबारा बोलो शीन शीन लाम राइन हाम चल शाबाश दाल पर नुक्ता है दाल पर नुक्ता किधर है अच्छा इसमें क्या फ़र्क नज़र आ रहा है आपको बाग
Nearly 250 boys study here. They come from all over Pakistan. None of them go to public school.
God sent the Holy Quran as the last book for the good of humanity. It is therefore extremely important to protect this book. To preserve its words, God inscribes them in the hearts of young children who memorize them, and in that way they're passed on from generation to generation. We believe that those who send their child to a madrasa to learn the Quran will be crowned on Judgment Day, and their crown will shine brighter than the sun. Memorizing the Quran is one of the most important things in our religion.
Pakistan, where 97% of the population is Muslim, is one of the poorest nations in Asia. There are 35,000 madrasas in operation, only half of which are registered with the authorities. Here, students are aged between 8 to 25 and all have the same responsibilities.
It's lunchtime for the children. We prepared some rice for them. For all the daily chores, we asked them to help us, because we can't afford to employ staff to do this work.
The majority of madrasa students come from families living below the poverty line, meaning with less than 2.5 euros a day.
Most of the students we have here come from very poor backgrounds, and we don't charge them any fees. In our country, poor families often have a lot of children, but they can't afford to feed them or look after them. For them, the madrasa is a great support. We provide food, accommodation, clothing, and education. There are also parents who send their children here when they're not doing well at school or are causing problems.
The students' daily routine is punctuated by lessons, meals, and prayers, from the first at dawn to the last late at night. There are around 100 boarders. They are cut off from their families, whom they see only once every fortnight, and only have access to their telephones on Thursday evenings. Liqaul Mohsin denies having been confronted with any case of assault on minors on his establishment. However, he has put in place certain rules, which he justifies in his own way.
This is where the younger ones sleep. The older ones sleep separately on the floor below. The youngest are between 10 and 15, and the oldest are over 15. We don't mix young and old because there are a lot of bad influences in society. This could encourage forbidden relationships. That's why we're very careful to avoid temptation.
Temptations. For the cleric means homosexuality, which is illegal in Pakistan. But he plays down the cases of rape reported in Quranic schools. However, a former student of the school says the opposite. This man, aged 27, has studied in various Quranic schools before becoming a teacher. He describes a system which isolates, exploits, and exposes children to constant danger.
I was 12. I was the one who wanted to go to the madrasa. I wanted to do hafez, memorizing the Quran. My family didn't force me. We were so scared of the teachers that all they had to do was stare at us once to make us want to sink into the ground. We were often beaten up. If they called our name, we had to run straight away. If we were sitting down, we had to get up straight away. If they gave us an order, we had to obey without delay. It was as if they were the masters and we were their slaves. After a few months, I started seeing things I didn't understand. I didn't even know that such things could happen or be done. One night, it was about midnight, I was going down the corridor to go to the toilet. A bedroom window was open and I looked in. I saw a boy lying on the floor. The teacher was on top of him and they were both naked. I said nothing to anyone. I went back to my room without making a sound. I've seen this a lot. The same teachers with different boys. Once my teacher called me into his room and ordered me to massage his feet. I started to do it. He told me to massage higher and higher, so I went up his legs massaging him. Then he told me to hold his penis. I said no. He told me he was going to expel me. I'd worked really hard and I was afraid of having to repeat the year again, so I said okay. And he held out his penis to me. After seeing these things several times, I started committing the same sexual acts. There was always a pupil with me whom I exploited whenever I wanted. I was his elder. He was a junior. I was the class supervisor, so I threatened to go and tell the teachers that he wasn't learning his lessons if he didn't do as he was told. The first time I abused him was on the mat where we slept. I continued to do these things after I finished my studies at the madrasa when I lived with my parents for a year. This happened when I was playing with boys. I would force them to lie down and abuse them. I did that with 15 to 20 boys. I had no idea it was rape or abuse because I'd seen it so many times. It seemed normal to me. I just copied everything I saw. No one ever stopped us. There was never a complaint to the police. Nobody said anything. I said to myself, this happens in madrasas. It's nothing new. It's not bad. Nothing will happen to me.
Back in Color Kahar, Wahid goes to court today to appear before the judge.
I want justice to be done. If he is severely punished, all the madrasas will be afraid of abusing a child. Today, my family and I are fighting. I'm not afraid anymore.
The boy is guarded by his uncles, who form a circle around him. In the absence of his father, a soldier on a mission in another province, they are the ones who accompany him. Bringing a case against a religious authority in Pakistan requires exceptional courage. They know it will be an uphill struggle.
I spoke to the lawyer and he told me he would be in court at 9 o'clock.
Will the culprit be there?
Maybe he'll be there. The case will go on for years. Hearings are held every month or two, or the judge goes on holiday, so the case drags on.
The accused is very strong. He has a lot of influence. That's why we all have to be united to be strong. And if we are faced with a problem or a threat, we will protect each other.
People try to hide these incidents, but we will fight as one family. Whatever happens, the culprit must not be released on bail. He must not go free and tell people, you see, nothing happened to me.
In Pakistan, sexual crimes against children are punishable by up to 25 years imprisonment. However, the judicial system is overburdened and sometimes corrupt and struggles to be effective. Less than 1% of cases of violence against minors result in a conviction. Wahid's lawyer is reassuring.
The public prosecutor's office has completed its initial investigation, and they will be presenting him to the court in the next 3 to 4 days. I've had a look at the report, and in my opinion, there is no doubt that the mullah is guilty. I'm confident we will win this case.
To circumvent local pressure, the boy's family had to find a lawyer outside their town.
When I see the accused, it makes me angry. It hurts me, and I feel sad. Because he has hurt us, but we're relying on justice. The chain of madrasas to which they belong is very close to the highest Islamic clergy. And they also have a strong local influence. If we had hired a local lawyer, they might have put pressure on him and tried to weaken our case. So we called in a lawyer from outside the town.
The accused remains in prison for the duration of the investigation. Wahid's relatives leave the court slightly reassured. In the district of Kasur, a bereaved father could not get justice for his son. Muhammad Salim's son died on 21st of June 2023. Samar was 8 years old. He was thrown off the roof of his madrasa after being raped.
This is my son, Samar Salim. When I saw him in hospital, blood was pouring from his mouth and ears. He was in no condition to speak or open his eyes. I can't bear to look at this photo. All I can think about is killing that cleric or killing myself. This is the monster, a stain on the name of Islamic scholars.
Muhammad Salim is living a walking nightmare. The death of his son was followed by divorce and separation from his 2 other children, whom he sent to live with his sister. He denounces the corruption of the police, who, he says, botched the investigation. He also questions the doctors, whom he suspects of falsifying the autopsy report.
The investigator asked me for money. He said, "Your case will be handled. There will be no problem. Just give me 300,000 rupees." I don't even have 10 rupees. The culprit's relatives in the village threatened to kill me on the way to court and make it look like an accident if I kept fighting. Seeking justice has become extremely difficult. When I go to court, I have to go like a criminal, hiding my face, hoping that no one will see me, for fear that someone will recognize me, catch me, and kill me. I live with that fear.
Muhammad Salim did not get justice. According to his lawyer, he finally accepted to sign an agreement with the accused, who was later released. In Pakistan, the courts drop charges against the accused if they obtain forgiveness from the victim or his family, a principle enshrined in Islamic law.
I try to visit him at least once or twice a week. I talk to him. "My son, how are you? Where are you? Do you miss me?" But he doesn't answer, so I leave heartbroken. So many people have been through this, but none of them got justice. Our society in Pakistan is rotten. It has become extremely difficult to protect children's lives.
Few voices dare to denounce sexual violence against minors in this conservative and traditional country. In Islamabad, the NGO Sahil has been systematically documenting cases of abuse reported in the local press since 1996.
ये कौन सी डेट के हैं कोई नए वाले
From the 2025. Look at this one.
Let me see. हाँ
बच्चे से ज्यादती के इल्जाम में मोल्डिंग को कत्ल किया।
हाँ अच्छा दिस इज द मौलवी वाला तालागंग मदरसे के कारी के 14 साल तालिबा से ज्यादती अगर उन्होंने कहीं लिखा है कि ये मदरसे में ही हो रहा था
That was not mentioned.
Every year, the NGO publishes a report called Cruel Numbers. According to their data, around 8 cases are reported every day. But the organization estimates that the real numbers could be 10 times higher.
And look, Cruel Numbers is what we monitor newspapers up to 80 to 85 daily, and we collect all the cases that come up in the newspapers of child sexual abuse, abduction, missing children, early marriages, pornography, prostitution, because all those are forms of sexual abuse. We put it onto an Excel sheet, and at the end of the year, we do a complete analysis. These cases will not include a number of other sexual abuse cases that can be reported, like oral, like touching, kissing, because these could never be proved. So the fact remains is that you will have many more cases.
According to the NGO, at an institutional level, the greatest number of complaints are lodged against religious teachers or clergymen, more than against the police, teachers, or close family members.
Madrasas, as we know are what we call in Urdu a gar, means a real powerful hold, and where abuse is happening all the time. We know that. But it is very difficult to make a breakthrough there. In all the 70 years of Pakistan, the religious groups were very small and not influential, but we have let them grow and become more influential. And now they have a big sway. And people, I think all our governments are a bit wary of doing anything that might disturb them. The whole thing is such a rotten setup that there's really nothing we can do. Not an NGO, the government could, but they haven't done anything like that.
In the south of Punjab, one woman dares to break the silence. Sidra Ilyas, revolted by the widespread sexual abuse in the society, she is waging a grassroots battle by raising awareness among isolated rural communities.
Is everything ready?
Yes, it's ready. Do you want to check?
Yes.
Is this one okay?
Yes. That's good too. Let's go.
This activist has chosen to devote herself entirely to the prevention of sexual violence. For the past 3 years, she has been tirelessly crisscrossing the most isolated regions in the country, where illiteracy affects almost 60% of the population. With no support from any organization, she works with her only allies, her brother and sister.
The roads are difficult here.
Yes, the road is broken.
That day, she has an appointment with a civil society activist in the village of Bakshanwala. This woman has gathered dozens of mothers and their children to attend Sidra's presentation. Everything is done by word of mouth with utmost discretion.
You've all heard about many cases of child rape recently. Where are most of these incidents reported? I think it's in the madrasas. You send your children there to get a religious education, to learn the Quran. But it's your responsibility to know what's happening to them there. You have to ask them if anyone is abusing them or touching them in an inappropriate way. It could be a teacher or a classmate. The law on this is very strict. If something happens, you have to make a complaint. Everyone will support you. I will support you. So, children, these are your private parts. You mustn't let anyone touch them. If anyone touches you, who do you tell? Your mother and your father. If that happens, will you say so? What did I explain to you? What's a bad touch? What's a good touch? Where else is a bad touch? Okay, are there any other places? Okay, here, yes. If someone touches you here, what is that? Okay, what is a good touch? Okay, good. What are the other touches? Bad touch, yes. Here, most cases of abuse go unreported. By doing what I'm doing here, I'm threatening the status quo because I'm telling the villagers to take action against such acts and to report them. In fact, the perpetrators usually settle these problems by reaching an agreement with the victim's family. So my work is seen as a threat to their power. Sometimes men come to the gathering and say to me, "Why are you doing this?" I try to be discreet. I always wear a veil in the villages I go to because I could get into trouble.
At Wahid's house, the news is not great. His attacker has been released on bail.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम बेटा क्या हाल है ठीक है क्या देख रहे हैं बेटा आप बिल्कुल मुतमईन रहें
My dear, you must be confident. Don't think too much about what happened. Don't worry too much about it.
आप ये समझें ऐसा कोई मामला हुए
You have to think that nothing has changed, that we will continue to fight.
भी मिलेगी अल्लाह पाक की मदद
He will be punished. God will help us. Everyone is still praising your courage.
बड़ी जुर्रत है
He took advantage of me. My whole life is at stake, and it's destroyed. I can't even go out. If I go out, I have to be accompanied by someone. Now they're going to come after me. They won't give up.
We find Wahid's alleged attacker in the same madrasa where he was studying. We film him with a hidden camera. The cleric is still there, in direct contact with the students. Neither the government nor the network of Quranic schools to which the madrasa belongs has taken any steps to suspend him from his duties while an investigation is carried out. The matter seems to have been ignored, as if nothing had ever happened.